So, this weekend was the official launch of the Sonic Racing CrossWorlds Open Network test, and it's been a lot to take in. As someone who missed out on the PlayStation exclusive network test a few months back, this has been my first real hands-on experience with the game, and I haven't been able to put it down. In fact, I've actually been playing for longer than the network test has even been open. Either way, this weekend has been the first chance for myself and many others to properly experience the game, and public perception has changed completely. Before this, I was only seeing negativity about every aspect of the game, but now that fans have actually got the chance to give it a try themselves, people are saying that it even rivals Mario Kart, which is something I never thought I would hear. Today I want to talk about it, as well as my own thoughts on the demo's pros and cons. Because, seriously, people like this thing more than Mario Kart. I haven't stopped thinking about it for days. Mario Kart World was revealed just a few months after we got our first glimpse at CrossWorlds gameplay, and the response was ruthless, to say the least. People were calling for CrossWorlds to be delayed or even cancelled, confident that it would be absolutely decimated by its competition. Weirdly enough, most of them were Sonic fans themselves. I can't say I don't understand the mindset though. Mario Kart is the kart racer. Although I've never been a fan, even I was pretty sure that no matter how much I would prefer CrossWorlds, this release window would give it trouble. Surprisingly though, Mario Kart World came out back in June, and the public reception has been pretty underwhelming from what I've seen. A lot of the biggest changes they made have been pretty controversial to most fans, shifting to an open world formula, removing the fastest race speed, and a lot more. A very common opinion I've seen of the game is that it feels empty. A lot of potential, but it doesn't actually reach it a lot of the time. Modes like the Knockout Tour get old, intermission tracks are seen as a bother, updates to the game have made it so that even 3-lap races online can't be guaranteed. Keep in mind, I don't say any of this with experience, because I haven't actually got the chance to try the game myself. But that actually brings me to my last point. Potentially the biggest flaw of the game in my eyes, and likely a major reason for its lack of attention, the price tag. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that CrossWorlds has got it any better. One of these games is $70, the other is $80. Are either of them worth it? No, probably not. It's just a fact of the industry today. The biggest difference between the two though, is that Mario Kart is locked behind a $500 console, and this is something that Sega have completely taken advantage of. Unlike Mario Kart, CrossWorlds is fully crossplay, meaning that no matter the console, anyone can buy the game and play with friends. The game's got a lot of simpler advantages over its competition too. It's capped the 200cc equivalent, sticks to a typical arcade racer formula, and has plenty of popular names attached to its DLC to bring in a younger crowd. Despite the complete lack of confidence, public opinion of CrossWorlds has completely shifted now that the demo is out. Journalists are claiming it fills the hole Mario Kart World left, and fans are even spreading an apology for him for having too little faith in the game. We can't be certain until next month, but at the rate things are going, it seems like people might end up enjoying this game more than the latest Mario Kart, which is something I never thought I would be saying. Sega have been put in the perfect position with this game, and they've used it amazingly. I can only hope that this level of polish and love is being given to the series as a whole and not just this title. Now, with all of that out of the way, I'd like to take a little bit to discuss my own thoughts on my time with the network test, both positive and negative. I've been having a complete blast with this game. It took a little bit, but once I got the chance to try the higher speeds, online play, and dynamic camera, I was hooked. Yes, the dynamic camera is essential. It makes the game feel 100 times faster, and I have no idea why it isn't enabled by default. I have a lot of praise to give this game, but I don't want this video to go on for too long, so I'll be keeping my main focus on my biggest priority for any game, the gameplay itself. This game is so fun, man. Firstly, single player is super solid. Typically playing alone would be pretty mundane, but with the addition of the game's rival mechanic, it makes it a lot easier to get invested in solo races. Your rival has banter between every race, dialogue depending on how you perform against them, and can be pretty strong competition during races themselves. Obviously though, this isn't the main attraction of the game, and playing online is a completely different experience. While solo play and Grand Prix are fun, playing against others online quickly turns to pure chaos, which I mean as a complete compliment. This game does not give you room to breathe. A lot of the time I find myself getting pretty confident during kart races. Once I've secured a lead, I'm pretty much breezing throughout the race. Not in this game. Not by a long shot. No matter how long you've secured first place, that position can be obliterated and you'll be sent back to 12th in the span of 10 seconds. And honestly, I really love it. The loot pool is solid with a nice mix of generic kart racer items and more unique entries. Like the monster truck. This thing is genuinely terrifying. When you see that icon on the bottom of your screen, you know it's over. The gadget system is another simple new addition which adds so much variety to every race you play. While yes, different vehicles and characters have different stats, you hardly notice a difference compared to the different gadgets you're given. Essentially, as you race more, you unlock more gadgets and gadget slots, up to 6. Each gadget takes up anywhere between 1 and 3 slots depending on how powerful it is, and you can fully customize your gadgets to get as much use out of these slots as possible, completely altering how you play the game. One of the ones that costs 3 slots lets you start the race with a monster truck, and legitimately this thing is comedy gold. Getting a full team and having everyone put on the gadget makes the beginning of every race the most chaotic it can possibly be, and I love it. The last big new feature for the game, and one that I think does wonders for its replayability, is the Crossworld mechanic. During every race, your first lap begins in whichever track you voted for, your second takes place in a Crossworld that whoever is in first place selects, and the third returns to the main track, but with enough differences to not get repetitive. I know I sound like a parrot with how much I'm repeating variety, but it's legitimately the best compliment I can give this game. It does not get boring. I even thought that Crossworlds would be locked to select tracks, but no, you can get any track in the game as a single lap in your races, and it makes it so fun to have to adapt with every race. One last thing I want to mention regarding this feature is that despite many people thinking otherwise, Crossworlds can also be played through fully as 3-lap races, even having 3rd-lap remixes like all other main tracks in the game. This is a feature that wasn't even necessary, let alone one they could have avoided putting this much effort into. But they did anyways, and I think it's a great option to have. There's a lot more I can talk about with the game. Despite what most people have been saying on Twitter, I'm actually loving the soundtrack. The writing is super good for most characters. Visuals are looking super nice. I don't see where the dull complaint comes from. But I think I should stop here so that I don't end up going on much longer. Instead, I'll shift focus to some of my gripes with the demo and with the game as a whole. I don't have too many frustrations with what I've played so far, but I don't want to spend this entire script just talking about the positives either. The big one that I've noticed many of my friends struggle with was the lack of clear control customization. I'm not sure if this is an issue with the demo itself, or if this will carry over to the official release, but from what I've seen there isn't any clear and easy way to edit your game's controls. The closest I've found is a setting where you can change your accelerate button, which I think also changes other inputs, but this is not the best way this could be handled. When it comes to kart racers, everyone has their own ideal controls. While I had a fine time getting used to the game's controls, some prefer drifting to be mapped to a button rather than a trigger, or for their acceleration to be the opposite. Simple control editing shouldn't be too much to ask, especially for a game that relies on controls so heavily, so I really do hope that this is an issue with the beta and doesn't carry over to the final release. A smaller issue I've found myself having during my time with the beta is the lack of characters. The original closed beta months ago had a pretty small cast of characters, but I was pretty sure that this release would be different. Sadly though, other than the addition of the Babylon Rogues and eventually Joker, I'm pretty sure the roster is the exact same. They've gone out of their way to add the other characters to the menu, but they're locked and completely inaccessible. Normally I wouldn't care too much since it just comes off like I'm being picky, but it really did begin to bother me once I remembered that they openly promised the ability to play as the Chaotix leading up to the beta, only for that option to be completely missing from the test. Lastly, my biggest issue with not just the test but the game as a whole is the writing of one specific character. Amy Rose. You know I'm having trouble finding issues when that's my biggest one, but still. Amy's writing has been a problem for years, one that I'll probably talk about in future, but it's incredibly clear in this game especially because most other characters are handled great. The problem is that Amy, for whatever reason, has lost any sort of edge or attitude that was once a staple of her character. She doesn't even trash talk anymore, she's just stuck constantly acting way too positive. They must have been having trouble coming up with anything for her because her victory line is this.
Follow me inside, outside, through the stratosphere!
Literally just a line from an old song. This has happened a lot before in the comics, and I've always had issues with it, but this is the first time it's happened in a game, and it just feels incredibly lazy. I won't go into too much detail because this video isn't any sort of character analysis, but the best way to sum it up is that compared to every other character in the game, Amy is super lame. She had more attitude in Team Sonic Racing, and that game was famously mid. It shouldn't be a problem to let her show any sort of frustration or competitiveness, it's a major part of her character. Putting all of that aside though, this game has still been a complete blast to play. All of the issues I just brought up are tiny compared to the many positives the game has, and I'll be playing as much as I can until the test ends. I hope that some of my issues will get resolved by the time the game officially releases, but this experience has already won me over. It's kind of surreal to think that we're in a world where a Sonic kart racer is actually rivaling Mario Kart. We can't really know how things will go until the game releases in a month, but until then, things are looking pretty good for CrossWorlds. Let me know your own thoughts on the game in the comments below. Are you feeling as optimistic as I am, or has the demo left you with more issues than I've had? This has been Maze Radical. Thank you for watching. I cannot stand that slicer. Every time I see the icon, it ruins my run. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it.